Welcome back to Base Sunday. Nothing is original. Well, that is exactly what our next guest is here to talk about. He is an author, an artist, a speaker, and he's obsessed with the art of communicating through both pictures and words. His book, Steal Like an Artist, is now an inspiring guide to creativity in the digital age. He presents 10 transformative principles that are great. It's going to help you readers out there discover their artistic side. The goal here is to build a more creative life, a more fulfilling life. It gets high praise from our producer, among many others all over the world, mind you. Please say hi to Austin Kleon, right?
Hey, how are you doing?
Well, let's start out with the title.
Right.
What's up with that? Steal Like an Artist.
Steal Like an Artist is a play on something Picasso supposedly said. He said, bad artists copy, great artists steal. Now, Picasso actually never said that. It was T.S. Eliot, the poet. But the big idea behind Steal Like an Artist is, like, as you said, nothing is completely original. All creative work builds on what came before. And so the idea behind the book is that instead of running away from influence, instead of trying not to be influenced, we should actually run towards influence. And that the way to do better, more creative work is to set up a life for yourself in which you can surround yourself with good influences, play nice, and work hard.
It's true, because in broadcasting, I was a sports guy before a news guy. Jim Nantz, Bob Costas, you would take little pieces of them and incorporate them into you and then put your own fingerprint on it, right?
That's absolutely how it happens. I mean, we're drawn to our work by people who are doing that work. And how we start out in the beginning is we copy our heroes. And you don't just copy one of your heroes. There's a famous saying that says if you copy one of your heroes, it's plagiarism. If you copy several of your heroes, it's research. So, you know, you take little bits and pieces from the people you love and you put them in a blender and you add your own ingredient, and that's you.
It's like writing a term paper. You got to collect all this information and you grind it up and you give them the finished product.
Exactly.
Talk about how you got this started, because it's kind of unique. You were a blogger and you had these blackout newspaper blogs. What was that all about? And that kind of brought you down this road, right?
Yeah, so I make these things called newspaper blackout poems. And what I do is I take an article from the newspaper and I take a permanent marker and I black out most of the words, but I leave some of the words behind. It kind of looks like if the CIA did haiku. And so those got very popular on the internet and led to my first book, Newspaper Blackout. And then what happened is I was asked to talk at a community college to a group of students based on that work. And that's where Steal began, because I was terrified about what I should be saying to young people. And the idea of telling
the steal part is a little steal like an artist. What? You can't do that.
Yeah, that was what the parents thought too when I gave the speech. But you know, I think that, so what happened was what do I tell people? So I just sat down and I thought, you know, people love lists. I'll just write a list of 10 things I wish I would have heard when I was that age.
Perfect segue, because the 10, we don't have them listed here, but I'll use your hands. Be boring occasionally. Be nice, because, you know, life's a long road. Talk about some of the things that you think you wish you had known before you started on this journey.
Well, I think you know, I think there's kind of a theme on today's show that you know, I think stepping away from the computer screen is really important. I'm one of those people that you might call a digital native. I do remember life before the internet, but I've grown up with the internet and it's become part of my career. But I actually find that my work gets better when I step away from the computer. I'm not constantly stimulated. When I go to a quiet place with my sketchbook and nothing to distract me. And some of the other things you listed, you know, in this world of hyper connectivity online, be nice. The golden rule is even more important. Everyone has a Google alert on their name. If you talk about someone on the internet, they are going to find out.
Absolutely.
And the be boring part is the one that people have a really hard time with, because supposedly if you're a creative person, you're supposed to be kind of a wild person. You're supposed to, you know, we think of like someone like Don Draper on Mad Men, you know, this kind of carousing, heavy drinking, brilliant genius. But the fact of the matter is that creative work takes a lot of energy to do, and you don't have that energy if you waste it on other things. There's a writer named Flaubert, and he said, be boring and regular in your everyday life so that you can be violent and original in your own work.
Which goes along to clearing the clutter out of your life as well.
Exactly.
Well, Austin, we're out of time, but great book, and we wish you all the best with it.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming in. Okay, if you'd like more information on Austin Kleon and his book, Steal Like an Artist, please visit austinkleon.com. That's our show. See you next week. More Bay Sunday next week. See you, folks.